January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted.
Seditious conspiracy.
But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
Equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth about $165,000. Smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals, and that's why you may want to consider buying gold from the folks over at the Birch Gold Group. For thousands of years, gold has been a store of wealth, and today it's a crucial part of any balanced investment strategy. Even better, the Birch Gold Group can help you convert an existing IRA or a 401k into a tax-sheltered retirement account in gold. In order to get more information, simply text the word America to the number 989898 and you'll receive your free information kit on gold. There's no obligation here, just useful information. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of satisfied customers, allow the Birch Gold Group to help you diversify with gold. That truly is peace of mind. Text the word America to the number 989898. Again, text America to the number 989898 today. Terrence Bates here with your Real America's Voice news break. President Trump is set to host House Republicans at his Doral, Florida resort today. The commander-in-chief is set to address the body this afternoon as part of a 3-day issues conference aimed at solidifying the chamber's legislative agenda for the rest of the year. The annual retreat is also about sharpening the party's messaging leading up to November's midterm elections. House Republicans are looking to find a way forward on issues like cost of living increases. Amid the ongoing military operation in Iran, spiking energy prices and higher oil and gas prices are now also an issue that lawmakers have to answer to their constituents over. Other issues on the agenda include discussions on a budget reconciliation bill, as well as ways to lower health care costs and fund the Department of Homeland Security about the department's latest Democrat-induced shutdown. President Trump is drawing a line in the sand, saying that he will not sign any bills until the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, or SAVE Act, is approved by the Senate. 47 made that announcement on Truth Social, writing in part, the United States Senate should focus on exclusively, if necessary, the Save America Act. It's what everyone wants. In a separate post, he emphatically writes, pass the Save America Act now. It's all people care about. President Trump calling for the full version of that bill to be passed, not a watered-down measure. That would include voter ID and proof of citizenship. The commander-in-chief also wants no mail-in ballots except for the military, illness, or disability. He's encouraging Senate Majority Leader John Thune to use the talking filibuster in order to get the measure over the finish line and circumvent the 60-vote threshold needed to pass it. 2 people are in custody this morning in connection to a bomb that was set off outside New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home during an anti-Islam protest. In a statement, Mamdani writes, such hate has no place in New York City. It's an affront to our city's values and the unity that defines who we are. He goes on to write, quote, the attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it's reprehensible and the antithesis of who we are. Investigators say the 2 suspects in the case haven't been charged yet, but reportedly told law enforcement that they were inspired by watching ISIS videos online. The duo appears to be Muslim, like Mayor Mamdani, and were targeting protest organizer and pardoned J6er Jake Lang. The NYPD bomb squad says the homemade bomb could have caused serious injury or even death. Well, Iran has its new supreme leader after Mojtaba Khamenei was named the new leader of the embattled Islamic Republic. The 56-year-old is one of the sons of the late Ayatollah, who was killed in U.S. strikes just days into the current war. Khamenei has never been elected or even appointed to a government position and is said to hold even more hardline views than his father. In the meantime, while you were sleeping, Iran ramped up attacks on Israel as well as neighboring Gulf countries. Also happening over the weekend, the U.S. military confirming a 7th death related to Iranian retaliatory attacks. The latest death happened in Saudi Arabia, where the soldier was stationed. That's a quick check of your headlines. I'm Terrence Bates. As always, we appreciate having you along for the ride. Now, let's take a quick break and then get you back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. To the factories, from small towns to city streets, this is the fight for the soul of our nation.
We're watching Democrats attack democracy. Do not be fooled.
The strength, the grit, the greatness of the American spirit, all right here.
The left wanted power, not peace, but there's a resistance rising. A generation saying enough, enough. We've tried it their way, and it failed.
The Steve Gruber Show with your host, Steve Gruber, starts right now.
All right, let's get rolling right into a brand new day here on the program. Glad to have you on board. Fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. Who do you want shoulder to shoulder with you when things hit the fan, man? You got to know. We're putting America first every single day. Let's get rolling here. 3 big things for this hour. Number 1, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz says he's packing up and getting out of the state of Washington, moving his corporate headquarters to Miami. Another blue state fumble of a big prize. Number 2, the FBI is warning that Iran has been looking at trying to launch drone attacks against California. That would certainly be a game changer, but not in the way they might think. And number 3, I want to talk about the tale of two Americas today. One rooted in an ideology that churns out disaster, and one rooted in reality that turns out results. Reality's stubborn. It doesn't care about slogans or theories or bumper stickers. Reality is the world as it actually exists, the threats we face, the energy we need, the priorities that keep a society functioning. Ideology, on the other hand, is what happens when political movements become so convinced of their worldview that they stop paying attention to the world around them. And if you want to see that divide playing out in real time, you don't have to look too far. Just take 3 stories that surfaced in the same week. The first comes out of New York, where authorities say 2 teenagers were arrested in connection with an ISIS-inspired attack plot. Teenagers radicalized online by ISIS propaganda threw 2 homemade bombs into a crowd of anti-Muslim protesters shouting Allah Akbar, Allahu Akbar, as they did. They told police officers that it was their religion, Islam, that made them do it. Yet the mainstream media still refuses to embrace the reality that this has anything to do with Islam. Here's an example.
Is there a line anywhere right now on Capitol Hill or elsewhere in the Republican movement when it comes to anti-Muslim?
I can't speak for Mike Johnson, but I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last 10 days.
What does that have to do with Muslims?
So can we condemn those? Why are we?
Of course. What does that have to do with Muslims?
What does that have to do with Muslims?
There is a radical strain of Islam that's led to these terrorist attacks. Obviously, the vast majority of Muslims are
people
peaceful.
with terroristic ideologies here and all around the world What does that have to do with whether Muslims belong in American society as a group?
Good Lord. And later on CNN, Ana Navarro did the exact same thing, deflecting from the real reason for the attack. Here's another example.
Ironic is, so supposedly some of these comments are as a result of the attempt against Mayor Mamdani in New York, who was raised Muslim, was he not? Himself. Yeah. So they're being anti-Muslim and they're finally defending Mamdani over something.
To be clear, the attack wasn't on Mayor Mamdani. It was on people It was attacking protesters, people protesting Mamdani.
Right by his house.
To frame it as an anti-Muslim attack would actually completely reverse what happened. Someone who shouted
saying that it was anti-Muslim. I'm saying that they're finally doing that Republicans are finally doing something.
There it is. The left is blind. They equivocate. Oh, it was near Mayor Mamdani's house. So it was an attack on him. No, it wasn't. Like I said, the left is blind, even when it's staring them straight in the face when it's inconvenient for them. These teenagers embrace the ideology of a foreign terror group that the United States has spent decades trying to defeat. Think about that for a moment. For more than 20 years, Americans have watched their country fight Islamic extremism overseas. We fought wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. We built intelligence networks. We passed security laws. We were told the goal was simple: keep that ideology from reaching American streets. And yet here we are in 2026 with teenagers in New York City allegedly drawn into the same radical worldview that produced attacks across Europe and the Middle East. The reality is clear. It's uncomfortable. It's dangerous. And it requires clear-eyed leadership willing to acknowledge what's actually happening. But reality often seems like an inconvenience for Democrats. Because while the real world presents us with serious challenges, security threats, geopolitical instability, economic competition, a huge amount of political energy is spent debating ideas that exist almost entirely in the realm of ideology, not in reality. Which brings us to the second story, this one from Minnesota. Lawmakers there are considering a proposal that would grant legal rights to wild rice. I can't even make that up. Yes, wild rice, a plant. The proposal would effectively allow the plant to have something like legal standing, a right to exist, potentially enforceable in court. Like I said, I can't make this up. Listen.
First, this bill applies the legal inherent rights doctrine to a plant that has been in Minnesota since long before there was a Minnesota. That doctrine does not grant any right to wild rice. Rather, it recognizes that the plant's inherent right to live exists because it is alive.
Its inherent right to exist. You've got to be kidding me. In a court of law. The symbolism here is hard to ignore, especially when you remember something else the Minnesota legislature did just a couple of years ago. In 2023, that same legislature passed sweeping laws legalizing abortion up to the point of birth, removing nearly all limits on late-term abortion in the state. No right to exist there, apparently. Minnesota Democrats refused to listen to reality when confronted with it during debate by Republican State Representative Ann New Brindley. Here's what she said.
Frankly, right now, the underlying bill language allows for abortion for any reason, via any method, at any point in pregnancy. It is the most extreme position on abortion in the entire world. Literally on the world stage with just 7 other countries. But certainly by the 3rd trimester, we do know that babies in utero can feel excruciating pain in the 3rd trimester. But there has to be a point at which some humanity kicks in for us. There has to be a point at which we can all look around and say, this is particularly disturbing. And I would just make a point that, if you did these things to a baby just a week later, a day later, if that baby was outside of the womb and you did these things, again, a day later, not only would you be charged with murder, but that would be aggravated.
Minnesota Democrats and many across the country heard this and so much more, and still chose to strip away a baby's right to life, to exist. So think about the contrast. In the span of just a couple of years, lawmakers there went from eliminating protections for human life late in pregnancy to debating whether a plant should have legal rights to exist. You can't make this up. It's not just a policy debate, it's a snapshot of ideological thinking taken to its illogical conclusion. When politics become driven entirely by theory, symbolism, and moral signaling, priorities start to invert. The boundaries between serious governance and abstract activism are completely blurred. It's a strange world, isn't it? Just to see that, to review that, and I've got more coming. Ideology or reality? The discussion continues on the Steve Gruber Show in just a moment.
Exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6 wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted.
Seditious conspiracy.
But behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6 like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Hey y'all, it's Nancy from Texas. Real America's Voice gives us truth, not propaganda, and we need that. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, my name is Jeff. I'm from Massachusetts. I love Rav because of the free speech and the political wranglings that go on in the chat every day.
Glad to have you up with us here today. Look, when reality hits ideology and they run into each other, reality has a way of reminding us what actually matters. Reality reminds us that threats still exist, that extreme ideologies still recruit followers, that society still depend on the hard, unglamorous infrastructure that makes modern life possible. Which brings me to a third story today, one that comes from a very different part of the country, in Texas. A major oil refinery opening its doors in a landmark $300 billion deal, all right? Here's Interior Secretary Doug Burgum with the latest.
Well, this is something that would have never happened under the Obama or Biden administrations, who are essentially anti-hydrocarbons. President Trump, with his energy dominance, which means energy abundance, which means have energy to sell to our friends and allies, and have enough of that it helps get prices down for American consumers. But this refinery announcement, it's a win. It's a win for American workers. It's a win for American consumers. It's a win for America, and it's a win for American shale producers, because this refinery, $300 billion project, is going to be tuned to handle those sweet light crudes that come from the Permian, come from the Bakken, and it's going to produce, it's going to be handling enormous amounts of throughput, and it's going to be able to put gas, diesel, jet fuel on the U.S. markets and help lower the prices. More competition in refining is great. We got lots of oil, having more competition here. So again, President Trump's energy dominance agenda in action, because all of this happened, the permitting and moving this project forward has happened in the time frame since he became president. Yeah. He's working at Trump speed to make sure we've got the infrastructure, again, for peace abroad, prosperity at home.
First time in 50 years. Congratulations to Brownsville, Texas, for having that project on its doorstep. Now, for the activists and bureaucrats who dominate so many political debates, that might sound like a relic from the past. For years, we've been told that fossil fuels are on the verge of disappearing. We're all out. That we're just one policy initiative away from a fully renewable economy powered entirely by wind turbines, solar panels, and just nonsense. Rainbows and butterflies. But reality keeps interrupting that narrative. And the states that ignore it pay the price. Here's Energy Secretary Chris Wright laying it out.
Live in red states. I'm from Texas. I see gas at like $2.50 when I'm back home. And then you hear from some people that are in California and they say the gas is skyrocketing. Can you explain the policies that are driving that? Even though the administration is drill, get the regulations down, it seems like some of these blue states aren't feeling the relief.
They aren't. But of course, the Trump administration, we want to help every state. But it is political choices that leaders make that make energy expensive. Like one of the reasons I'm here in New York, the New England states have crazy high electricity price for one reason. They blocked a natural gas pipeline that would go from Pennsylvania through New York State and lower everyone's electricity prices and allow job creation in New England. But the politics of, sort of a climate cult was we can't have any more hydrocarbons. We can't have any more hydrocarbons. They stand in the way of stuff and just make it more expensive.
The climate cult, so right. The reality is that global energy demand continues to rise. Reality is that modern economies, from agriculture to transportation to manufacturing, still depend on oil and natural gas. Reality is that when countries restrict domestic energy production, they don't eliminate demand. In fact, it's growing, as we all know. They simply shift power to other producers around the world and become beholden to them. Refineries are not abstract political symbols. They are industrial engines. They take crude oil and turn it into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, kerosene, all of it. The energy that moves trucks across highways, powers airplanes in the sky, and keeps supply chains running smoothly. Without refineries, the modern economy doesn't run at all. And while large parts of the political establishment debate ideological questions, the language of identity, the legal standing of plants, the latest theories about society, there are still Americans focused on something much more simple: building things, designing infrastructure, producing energy, doing the work that keeps this country humming along. That's what's happening in Texas. It's a reminder that beneath the noise of ideological politics, there's still an America grounded in reality, an America that recognizes the difference between symbolism and substance, an America that understands that prosperity and security ultimately depend on tangible things: energy, industry, infrastructure, all important. Look at these three things together, and you can clearly see the divide. In New York, the reality of global extremism shows up in a disturbing way. In Minnesota, ideology pushes politics into strange and symbolic territory. And in Texas, reality wins. Through the work of building and producing the resources our country still depends on. 3 stories, 1 lesson. Reality will eventually win every argument. You can't ignore threats, but they don't disappear if you do. You can try to regulate away industries, but the world still needs what those industries produce. You can pass laws that redefine priorities, but people will still notice when the contradictions become too obvious to ignore. The question for America is whether reality will reassert itself. It always does. The question is whether voters will continue to recognize it and start voting accordingly before left-wing ideology destroys whatever's left. And that's the monologue. If you're tired of juggling powders, pills, and capsules, I understand. Longevity Wellness simplifies your routine with an all-in-one nutritional shake that supports joints, brain health, digestion, and immune function, too. It tastes great. It's easy to use, and it's built for real life. Made with great ingredients, and we use it in this house every single day. All you need to do to find out more, go to longevitywellness.co. Use the promo code Gruber for an exclusive listener discount. Longevitywellness.co, promo code Gruber. If you become a subscriber, you'll get an even better deal. Cool, right? All right, after the break, a preview of the next edition of Forgotten America, the podcast that Ivy and I launched here a few weeks ago. If you haven't been listening, it's an easy thing to do. Just go to YouTube, become a subscriber, and get the next episode of Forgotten America, a preview of what's wrong with education in America. What is wrong with education in America? We're going to go right to the rotting root of the problem after this.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
All right, Forgotten America. Long-form conversations, and it's been good fun. Peter Schweitzer, the best-selling author, is this week's episode, and you can find all the episodes on YouTube, right? He's talking about the invisible coup, the move by Mexican members of parliament and others to come into America to set up shop as if they own the place. They act like it. Well, this coming Monday, we're going to shift gears because a lot of this is rooted in bad ideas. Where do these bad ideas come from? Well, they come from your local school oftentimes, if not exclusively. Alvin Louie, my guest that will drop on Monday. This is a discussion of what is wrong with the American education system that poisons children from a very young age. Listen to this.
So, in restorative justice, it says if a the perpetrator beats the victim, instead of the discipline going to the perpetrator, they both now have to sit down, and the victim now has to also understand why he did what he did. So if a trans child, if a boy who pretends to be a girl beats the brakes out of a girl, of course the school will tell the boy, hey, you can't do that. You can't be violent. Apologize. Boy goes, okay, sorry. And then the female that's gotten her nose broken in and the brakes beat out of her, you also have to understand why he did that. Because as a trans child. He is marginalized. He doesn't feel accepted. This is why we need anti-bullying, be kind, and social emotional learning. So now she has to, through her black eye, understand his perspective. That's restorative justice. Now, that begins in elementary school, and this is how it begins in elementary school.
It begins early. Conditioning those that had been beat up, that somehow it was their fault for getting beat up. Again, it's a remarkable conversation with Alvin Louie. There it is right on your screen. Click the QR code. Become a subscriber on YouTube. You're going to love these episodes. Ivy and I dig deep into these conversations. Just subscribe right here, and slap the like button, and you're going to have a good time. Forgotten America. I'll be right back.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Hi, this is Chris from Colorful, Colorado. I'm Drawbridge in the Getter Chat. I trust no one for my news except Real America's Voice. So if anyone asks, I was never here.
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
Program, we dig deeper into the headlines than most because we want you to have the facts at your fingertips. And so joining me now is Rabbi Michael Barclay, frequent Torah commentator for the Jewish Journal, as well as contributor for multiple periodicals, including the Jewish Forward, the Jewish Times, the Acorn, and PJ Media, among other things. Rabbi, thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Thank you for everything you do, Steve, you and your audience.
You know, we're about 12 days into this U.S.-Israel war against Iran. And some people would say that Trump started this war. I've heard people say that Trump is fighting Israel's war. I don't agree with either of those points. I was in middle school when I saw 52 Americans paraded around with blindfolds on as props for the radical regime that's been in place for 47 years. I remember watching the bodies be dug out from the embassy in Beirut and then the Marine barracks in Beirut. I remember the USS Cole in the year 2000, and the list goes on, not to mention Hezbollah, Hamas, and all the rest. Iran has been the lead sponsor of state terrorism in this world for 47 years. I think this is well overdue. I'm going to guess you might feel the same way. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely feel the same way. And I think we need to understand that for the clerics of Iran, the Shia Muslim clerics that run the regime, this is not even just a 47-year war that they've been attacking Western civilization. This is a 1,400-year war. This is not a war about land or politics or oil. It's a war about theology. And they have been dedicated to this. And so this is merely another battle in what they consider a 1,400-year war to achieve a worldwide caliphate of Sharia law at any cost.
Yeah,
this
and
is truly, it's not.
I see Islamic leaders in the United States, I've seen numerous posts, that they say they're not here in America to assimilate. They're not in the UK to assimilate, or France or Germany or anywhere in the Western world. They're here to take over and to dominate. It's a scenario they truly believe in. Just like you said, 1,400-year war. Okay, I can live with that. I mean, they believe that they're going to take over this country and all of Western civilization. And we're at a point in the conversation, set the war aside for a second. You see the number of mosques being built in Houston, Texas, and all over this country. Is this a real threat to you?
Of course it is. And I don't want to make a judgment and say, all Muslims are X, all Muslims are Y. We can only talk about the theology itself.
Understand.
And the theology itself is about creating one worldwide caliphate. It's just that simple, run by Sharia law. So if you can't do it just from external battles, you do it from internal workings by immigrating to the country. I read a Pew Research poll a few months ago that they're predicting that by 2032, the majority of Canadians will be Muslim. Well, they can vote in Sharia law if they so choose. This is a calculated war that is much longer than we generally as Americans think. We don't think in those kind of terms. We think that we're an old country at 250 years old. We're not. We're babies. And this war is much, much longer, and the theology is much longer. And if they can't do it by weapons, they'll do it by having more children. And as you make a great point, Steve, you say that they're not interested in assimilating. Our great-grandparents, as Jews who came here, or anyone who came from another country, Asians, remember, we wanted to assimilate into the culture. They don't. They want the culture to assimilate to them. And that's another form of trying to conquer a nation.
All right, so what are the main objectives here from Operation Midnight Hammer last June to this war in the Middle East today? One of the stated purposes from President Trump is to eliminate the nuclear threat of Iran. And I want to go to what you said about Canada. I don't know if they're going to become a Muslim nation in 6 years. Maybe, maybe not. I find that hard to believe. But I look at the UK. I look at Germany. I look at France. If our concern is radical Islamic fascists having nuclear weapons, it might be closer in that list of countries I just gave you. How concerning is that as you look down, not just 6 years, but 20 years or 50 years?
Look, it's all disconcerting. As Westerners, we typically look only towards short-term goals. We're looking, okay, can we make sure that Iran has no nuclear weapons? We know they have chemical weapons. Can we make sure that they're removed? We know that they've made deals to get even more ballistic missiles from China. Can we make sure that doesn't happen? That's important. But there's a much deeper issue going on here that is not going to only be solved in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. They are looking at the world in a much bigger and longer way. And we need to be aware of what their theology is, what their goals are. We need to be really understanding of that. You need to, in a partnership, a friendship, a relationship, you need to know what your partner likes and what they love. These people have declared us enemies. We need to know why. We need to understand all that. And we need to wake up. The idea of queers for Palestine is absurd, because that same person, if they went to Palestine, would be beheaded because of Sharia law. Even more absurd, Jewish queers for Palestine. Even more absurd, and this is actually a group, queer rabbis for Palestine. it's insane. And we need to just wake up to what is really going on. The enemy is within in terms of these Muslims who really do want to conquer our nation from the inside out.
Yeah. Okay, so this ongoing war in Iran, we've seen cluster munitions indiscriminately targeting civilians now in Israel. Not surprising. Disappointing, but not surprising. Somebody asked me yesterday to take the over-under on another month of war. I took the over. I think that the details will take longer than the big hits. We've had, 5,000 strikes on targets between the United States and Israel so far, but I think the bigger cleanup is going to be in the details. Your thoughts?
My prediction used to be by the end of Passover, which is mid-April. I've kind of adjusted that. I think it's going to be beginning of May. I think at that point we will be done. We need to be aware that there's a lot of pressure on President Trump from inside the administration to finish this war now. They're concerned about polls, and they're saying, people think that we're fighting Israel's war. We're not. Israel's the first line of defense for Western civilization. America is the last line of defense. So people are pressuring President Trump, however, and there's a big sign yesterday that things may be, they may want to try and finish this very quickly or declare victory when victory shouldn't be declared yet. Both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal were reporting about challenges with America with all this, and Steve Witkoff, whom we haven't heard anything from in 2 weeks, suddenly popped up saying, we're doing great, and I'm going to go to Israel to make war plans. And he's never really been someone making war plans. He's been someone negotiating to stay out of war. So I think those are signs that there's a lot of pressure and infighting inside the administration, trying to pressure Trump to just declare victory and walk away, let their lot be. So we'll see where they actually end it. But my personal expectation now is somewhere in the beginning of May.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that plays out. We do need to secure those nuclear stockpiles. That's going to require somebody's boots on the ground. Maybe not an invasion of the way Americans think about it, but somebody's going to have to go get those tools of mass destruction, if you will. I'll give you 20 seconds for the last word, sir.
We need to wake up, and we need to take care of each other as human beings. It is not against any human being who happens to be Islamic. This is recognizing these are Sunni clerics. This is an authoritarian regime that even is attacking other Muslims. So we need to be aware of that as well. And we need to take care of each other, because that's really the most important thing to do to create peace in the world.
Rabbi, I greatly appreciate you being here. We'll continue to watch closely, obviously, as this continues to play out. Sir, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you again for everything that you do.
Appreciate it. We'll take a break and be right back. This is The Steve Gruber Show.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Hi, this is Chris from Colorful Colorado. I'm drawbridge in the Getter Chat. I trust no one for my news except Real America's Voice. So if anyone asks, I was never here.
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
Welcome back to the program. You know, there's not a lot you can control in this world. It's a crazy week. Again, you know what you can control? What you put in your mouth. The quality of the nutrients and the supply of nutrients in the food you put in your mouth, you can control that. And I'm going to talk about something today that I think is really potentially life-changing. Whether you're 9 to 90, all points in between, Longevity Wellness makes a nutritional shake for kids in sports. Older folks want to make sure they get enough nutrition. Anybody who's on a strict dietary plan, you don't want to lose that bone and muscle, longevitywellness.co. And when I talk about putting quality ingredients in, nobody beats longevity. Joe Reek with me from Longevity Wellness. Joe, nice to see you this morning.
Hey, good morning, Steve. It's so fun being on with you guys. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm excited to be here, Steve.
I want to focus on the quality of this product because, you know, people are familiar with, you know, nutritional shakes and replacement bars that taste like, well, cardboard, frankly, and all these other things that have marginal nutritional value. And I'm being kind when I say that. Longevity is different. It's been different from the day you launched it. It's different because you put better stuff in it, correct?
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, Steve, like you said, it just tastes good. And that's actually one of the things that keeps people consistent because nobody wants to eat those cardboard bars every single day. Nobody wants to choke those down. And so that's why people love Longevity is because it's a simple, once a day, full whole body nutritional drink that you can take. You can add it with water. You can add it into milk. It comes in 3 different flavors, chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. They all taste phenomenal, Steve. But the most important thing, like you said, is you're going to get what your body needs. And I'll tell you, Steve, I talk to customers weekly, and I love hearing how people are telling me that they're more active, that their joints aren't hurting anymore, that they don't have that brain fog, and they attribute that all to Longevity.
Yeah, all right, so let's talk about 2 things. First of all, what's in it and what it does for your body. All right, let's just part 1, what's in it and why, and what it does for me physically.
Okay, so Longevity is going to have 25 grams of protein. And for those who want to enjoy a more active, longer life, muscle mass is very, very important and very, very critical. So there's 25 grams of protein inside of every serving of Longevity. You're also going to get 16.5 grams of collagen. This is collagen that helps your joints, your tendons, your soft tissue repair. It helps with your hair, your skin, your nails. It keeps your skin healthy. So during the wintertime, you're not going to have the dry, cracked skin that you normally have. It's going to have probiotics for your gut health. So no longer going to have those issues with your stomach. It's going to have probiotics, prebiotics. It's also going to have 22 natural vitamins and minerals. And this is really where Longevity is set apart. Is we do not use anything synthetic inside of Longevity. It's coming from natural, bioavailable ingredients. And I love reading what our nutritional program is made out of. It's made out of broccoli, spinach, kale, pumpkin, sweet potato, sunflower seed, maitake mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms. All of it you can read on the ingredient nutritional label. and it's all clean, healthy stuff.
All clean, healthy stuff. Nothing man-made. That's what I like about this. And look, we use it in this house every day. Nothing man-made. It's like taking the fruit and vegetable section of your grocery store and picking the best stuff and concentrating it down and putting it into longevity. That's really what it's like. So look, baseball season is getting started, which means I'll have some long days ahead myself. But for the young athletes, man, this is great. My son powers up with this stuff, and he'll take it after practice as well as a recharge, if you will. If you're older and you're concerned about calories, because you're older and they want you to take a nutritional shake, take the best. Take longevity. And if you're on one of those weight loss programs, I talk about this a lot of weight loss programs out there, a multi-billion-dollar industry out there. But when you lose weight, if you don't do it right, you can lose bone and muscle, and that is a bad idea. It covers all these bases, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, Steve. And like you said, those that are trying to have a healthier lifestyle, whether you're trying to gain weight or whether you're trying to lose weight, longevity supports you in your journey. It is one of those things that I feel that it was divinely inspired. The partner who invented longevity, he did it because his mom was diagnosed with renal failure. And while the care that she received was good, he noticed that the nutrition was lacking, and being a food scientist, he kind of used his mom as a guinea pig, and he started creating different iterations of longevity and giving it to his mom. And what he noticed was she started to have a happier, healthier life. When she was first diagnosed with renal failure, she was given only 6 months to live. And through proper care, proper nutrition, they were able to get an extra 3 years out of her. And so that is the reason why we do what we do, because if we could help John David's mom have an additional 3 years of life, why can't we help our lives have a more fulfilling and healthy chance? And so that's why we do what we do, is to help people have a more fulfilled life.
Yeah, I agree with you. Look, I'm no spring chicken anymore. I hate to admit it, but it's true. And as you get older, you need to change the way you do things. For the next 30 years, I remember a song about that. More lemonade, less beer, that sort of thing. But you take care of yourself, right? And this is part of that formula to take care of yourself so that you're vibrant, you're healthy. You can play with the kids, the grandkids, run the dog, go for a walk. Your joints don't hurt. You've got the energy you want. That's what it's about. It's about having a life that thrives, not just survives. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And how we age, it's really influenced more by our daily habits than our genetics. And so start your day out great with a serving of longevity. Just do that consistently once a day, and you'll notice you'll have more energy. You'll feel better. You won't have that brain fog that you normally have. Your stomach won't gurgle the way that it does. And all of this is attributed to healthy nutrition, Steve. And that's exactly what longevity does.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's easy, and it tastes amazing.
It certainly does. We love it here. Joe Reek, thank you, as always, for being here.
Of course. I love getting on here. I love helping people. And I love when customers call in saying, hey, we saw you on the Steve Gruber program, and they tell me their journey with longevity. And in fact, I talked with a gentleman this last week named Todd who had surgery, and his surgeon, his doctor, told him and says, I don't know what you're doing, but your scars after your surgery, they are healing phenomenally and they look amazing.
There you go.
He's like, it's because I've been taking longevity.
Find out more right now, longevitywellness.co. The promo code is Gruber. You're going to save 20%. If you become a subscriber, you're going to save even more. Longevitywellness.co. The promo code is Gruber. Trust me, we use it in this household. You should too. Joe Reek, thank you very much.
Hey, my pleasure. You guys be safe.
All right, longevitywellness.co. Promo code is Gruber. I'll be right back.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Hello, this is Hockey Nut from Weyerhaeuser, Wisconsin. Just saying, tune in to Real America's Voice for the truth.
Hi, this is Chris from Colorful Colorado. I'm drawbridge in the Getter Chat. I trust no one for my news except Real America's Voice. So if anyone asks, I was never here.
You know, I mentioned this at the top of the program. Howard Schultz, he ran for the Democratic nomination for president back in, what was it, 2016, maybe briefly. He is the CEO of Starbucks. Well, he's bailing out on the state of Washington. He says, I'm out of here. Washington putting in one of those new billionaire taxes or wealth taxes or whatever. He began working at a place called Starbucks 1982 September. Later bought the company. Was a CEO from 1986 to 2000, then from 2008 to 2017. Interim CEO until 2023 again, but he's out, can't afford it. Starbucks also moving to Nashville. So another big loss for the high-tax blue states. See you later. Going to Tennessee, and he's moving personally to Miami. Anthony, you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
Yeah, the gas station?
Yeah. That's a lot more than a gas station, isn't it?
Yeah, you could live at those things.
It's like an amusement park, right? They just got an F, as in fail rating, from the Better Business Bureau. Apparently, complaints go unanswered. And their customer service in question. Now, I've been to them a couple of times. I always thought the service was great, and you had, like I said, it's like an amusement park. Food, clothing, everything you can imagine under the sun, right? Remarkable place, but not doing very well when it comes to keeping the folks happy.
It's part of the experience.
Is it? Yeah. People are complaining about their chicken, bacon, avocado ranch wrap. So disgusting, I had to throw it out the window. A complaint from February the 4th. Look, I don't know.
It sounds like they're just weak.
Just weak customers. No weak customers at Buc-ee's, all right? Get out of here. What I want to know, if I go to Buc-ee's, how good is the coffee? Our coffee's great. 1776coffee.com. That's what powers this show every day. Anthony snorts it, which is weird. I think it'd burn your nose. Anyhow, good to have you here. A lot more to talk about. Serious conversations continue. Please go to YouTube. Follow us there. All the social media platforms. X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, I'm back on TikTok. Why not? The Steve Gruber Show continues for 2 more hours.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead, scan the QR code now.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with